The Supreme Court recently directed Delhi and NCR authorities to pick up all stray dogs from the streets and public places of Delhi, Noida, Gurugram, Ghaziabad, and Faridabad and put them in shelters. It also put complete prohibition on releasing the dogs back to their old neighborhoods. Now, this order created intense debate on social media and countrywide protests by dog lovers, animal activists, and general public. Some people love dogs, some are scared of dogs, and some are just disgusted by these animals. There is another group of people that does not care about any species on earth. Those who are scared of dogs, their fear is not unfounded because there have been several cases of dog bites and violent canine attacks in cities across the country. According to the World Health Organization, India accounts for 36% of rabies deaths in the world. The WHO also points out that 30 to 60% of these rabies cases and deaths occur in children under the age of 15 years. This is because dog bites in children often go unrecognized or unreported. Having said that, the WHO also points out that rabies in humans is 100% preventable provided we give prompt and appropriate medical care. Vaccination of stray dogs is the most cost-effective strategy to prevent rabies from spreading among humans. Stray dogs have always been there from time immemorial, be it in cities, villages, or anywhere in the country. Dogs have always been around us. Then what prompted the Supreme Court to pass this order? The August 11th order of the Supreme Court was a suo motu directive. Of course, the court reserved the order on August 14th based on interim pleas. But let's assume that we have to implement the Supreme Court order. Logically, it will be a humongous task, rather an impossible task. According to the Animal Welfare Board of India, 3,651 animal shelters got registered with the Welfare Board till March 2021. So we can assume that the number of animal shelters in the country is something around 3,600 or 4,000. Now, if all the states have to follow the Supreme Court directive, it will be an impossible task to put over 6 crore stray animals in this handful of shelters. Of course, this situation wouldn't have occurred had the government followed the animal birth control rules properly to control the population of stray dogs and other stray animals and reduce human-dog conflicts. Most of the birth control measures are taken up by private organizations, NGOs, or individual dog lovers. Until informed, municipalities in most of the cities rarely take this initiative. For private agencies, NGOs, and individual dog lovers, it often becomes a humongous task to sterilize and vaccinate stray dogs and other stray animals due to the lack of funds and infrastructure to treat the animals or to foster the animals after operation. Even after that, individual dog lovers and NGOs take up this challenging task and vaccinate and sterilize the dogs and put them back in their old neighborhoods with collars for identification. In Shillong too, many individual dog lovers have been doing this challenging task of sterilizing and vaccinating dogs in the absence of government shelters and proper hospitals where dogs or any animal can be admitted for treatment. Following a PIL, the state government recently told the Meghalaya High Court through a submission that it has taken measures like awareness drives and vaccination and sterilization drives in the city to control a stray population. This is of course not clear how the government has taken up such humongous task without first building any infrastructure. But this lack of facilities and infrastructure is common in many cities in the country. So, in such a situation, the Supreme Court directive does look burdensome. Now coming to the sentiments of the citizens, both dog lovers and dog haters. To cull these animals or to think that culling these animals because there were some incidents of canine attacks is akin to saying that the entire human race should be punished for the wrongdoings of some people. This cannot be a solution. We need to understand the problem, and we need to understand why this problem got aggravated. According to a 2024 report, 69.3% of dog and cat population are homeless in India, which is 19% of the stray population in the entire world. So we did not reach this number in one day. Hence, the solution also cannot be found in one day. The outrage over the Supreme Court order has led one section of the population to wonder why people are becoming so emotional over the stray dog issue when there are so many other important issues in the country, such as the electoral rolls disputes and the eviction of alleged Bangladeshis. Of course, these are important issues in the country, and of course, sensible citizens are aware of these. In fact, there are many sensible citizens who are doing their bit to be vocal about these issues. But this does not mean that we will ignore the issue of stray dogs. There is a law in this country to prevent cruelty to animals, and we should be implementing that properly. There are rules for animal birth control which are not being implemented properly, and we should ensure that those rules are implemented properly. This is the reason why we should not ignore the issue of stray dogs. Also, we should be mindful while we are referring to this issue, and we should abstain from using words such as menace and threatening. Dogs are not menace to us. I would like to finish today's episode with a story. One of my friends and her family, who lived in a government housing in Kolkata, were often targeted by their flatmates for feeding and sheltering stray dogs. After they left the place, they adopted 2 stray dogs, and they would coordinate with another like-minded family to take care of the other stray dogs. Of course, the other stray dogs would often come into that building because they were used to that. They would often take shelter and sleep inside the building. The residents would often chase them out and beat them up too. One rainy day, a few dogs took shelter inside the building. That night, it rained heavily, and the ground floor of the building got flooded. Now, the ground floor of the building had all the electric meters and all the electric wires. Like most of the government buildings in this country, that building too was not maintained properly. There was a live wire hanging probably somewhere. The next morning, one of the residents found the bodies of 2 dogs floating in the water, and instantly he understood what had gone wrong. He called up the electricity board. That evening, the residents of the building took out a procession with the bodies of the dogs. The dogs were buried with the love and respect that they had always deserved. Moral of the story: we must realize what we are doing before it is too late.